Welcome to the Motocross Supercross podcast.
All right, we're here, episode 25 of this Tuesday edition of the Motocross Supercross podcast, the 450 recap of what happened in Tampa. I'm Adam here with Claudio. What's up, Claudio?
Hey, man, what's going on?
What's going on? Not too much. I'm about to go watch some baseball here in a little bit. Little Pirates action here at Disney, playing against the Braves, little spring training, so that'll be pretty cool. Perfect day here in Florida.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah, isn't this weather perfect? I see a bunch of people down here riding. It's just like 70 degrees in the morning, blue skies, sunny. You can't beat it, man.
Definitely, you cannot beat it. It's a little cloudy over here, but it's definitely you can definitely tell it's Florida. So
that's even better. When it's cloudy, it just holds that moisture in the track. Yeah, I noticed it was kind of like that this weekend, which was awesome because it like during the practices and stuff, it was pretty much cloudy the whole time. So that track was able to it just made it held up that much better.
Definitely. Yeah, the track held up well. Again, it was a great race. We've been saying it for the last two podcasts. It was a great race, and in the 250 and the 450, that's what we're going to talk about today.
That's right. Let's just jump right in with this 450 Heat 1. We already talked about the 250, so if you missed that, go ahead, check that out on our other podcast, wherever you listen to us at. And make sure you follow us at MXSX Podcast on Instagram, too, so you can keep up with us on there. But this first heat, Baggett had a massive hole shot, just pulled away from everybody. Looked like he was on like an 800cc bike out there compared to everyone else. He was just hauling ass, and he's a light dude too. He's like a Alessi kind of style. It was just a big hole shot. It was probably one of the biggest hole shots of the year.
Yeah, he was up front definitely by a couple of bike lengths.
Yeah, and he was followed by Mooskin, Hill, Wilson, Freeze, Webb up there. Reed going for that record, that the new record 228. Is that what he's going for, right?
Yeah, that's what he was going for, 228. Ironically, it landed in Tampa. I know that he was saying in the interview that he couldn't believe it whenever he saw, him and his wife saw the schedule for, I guess, the 2018 Monster Energy Supercross series. And, he just couldn't believe it. He was saying that we caught a little bit on our Snapchat. It's probably gone already, but, we caught a little bit on the Snapchat, and they feature it on one of their sections, the Supercross sections or Raymond James section. And, so he said like he just couldn't believe that the breaking record race would be Tampa and how awesome that was going to be. And it was.
Yeah, our story was featured on there. He's talking about all that, and I slipped my beer into the frame. So
your drink, man, your drink.
Oh, my drink, my adult beverage. Yeah, I'd say no free ads here, but I'd say the name of it. But anyways, there was a lot of pressure on Reed to make that main event, and he had some problems early in this heat race because he got a little too far left in that sand section, and the bike just stuck. It just stopped. It didn't move anywhere.
Let's talk about this sand section, man. This sand section whoops everyone's ass. Again, we've been saying it for the last couple of podcasts, but no one got safe on the sand section. No one, not even the amateur kids.
Yeah,
and it wasn't even on there.
Exactly, it wasn't even sand on the amateur day, but they still they couldn't make it through clean. A lot of people having problems. But
a lot of people with different lines on there and different ways to go about it, for sure.
Yeah. Reed's problem was like on the edges, it was just really thick, and he just hit it, stuck. He had to like jump off his bike to like. But anyways, he got going again, and Hill was, or actually after that happened, we got to talk about Baggett. Right before that sand section, the Baggett turn.
Yeah, the Baggett turn. It's called the Baggett turn because he went over the bars and landed on the net. Thank God. He wouldn't be racing this weekend if it wasn't for the net being there for sure.
Yeah, he was trying to quad out of that section, came up a little bit short, kind of popped his back tire up. He said he was front braking, but well, obviously he couldn't back brake with his tire off the ground.
He was panic braking for sure with that front brake.
And yeah, just flung him right into that net. He had some good force, some good speed hitting that net too. It was like that net seemed like it absorbed all like the impact because his bike wasn't really like messed up at all. He was just able to get back on there, and then he got 7th place, right?
Yeah, he ended up finishing 7th on that heat race, and yes, that net definitely absorbed everything. He was gonna go a long way down. It was a really high berm, and just the way he got, because he got kicked into pretty high on that net too.
Yeah, yeah, he was at the top, and like I said, he held on. He said his shoulder hurt a little bit from all that, so that kind of affected him in the main, but he was able to qualify. So
kudos for sure. Kudos.
Yeah, it didn't really hurt him that bad, but after he landed short on that quad, Hill didn't really have any problems with it. He was doing it, but Hill and Muskin and Webb were all close. Actually, Webb had the fastest lap of the heat, like kind of towards the end of it. So he was ripping. But the battle was for 9th. That was Ben LeMay, Chad Reed, and Dean Wilson. Yeah, and Chad Reed, he's got to make it in.
That's right, man. He's the man of the hour that day for sure.
Yeah, he's got the record. He's got to make it in. But so Wilson,
his home track.
Yeah, home track. He's in the home with the Bucks, but the Lightning. That's his team. He wore their jersey,
right.
So he's got to represent. And unfortunately for him, Wilson, not Weed. I don't know why I said Weed, but Wilson passes Reed.
Chad Weed.
Yeah, Chad Weed. Wilson passes Reed, and then Wilson also passed LeMay, so Wilson was on it right before the finish line jump. And then Reed, he made it around LeMay in that turn before the over-under tabletop thing.
Yep.
And then Hill, he was just dominating. So Hill won it, and then Chad just came up that one position short, 10th place. So he's going to the LCQ just like we called here, or at least like I called my dream scenario.
You did say that. You did say that, and I was once these, I remember you saying it a couple of podcasts ago, and then you told me over there in the stadium, and all I can think of was like everything going like you said, Chad falling down, passing fourth, third, second. Here we go.
I knew it was such a big moment. He needed his own time for that moment. So it worked out good. It worked out good. So he didn't make it in this race, but Dean Wilson got that final spot at 9th. Then Cole Martinez at 8th. Blake Baggett, like we said, 7th. Vince Freeze at 6th. Benny Bloss, good ride for him at 5. Weston Pike 4th. Weston Pike always seems like he's in 4th. Always. Doesn't it seem like that? It's like he gets 4th every weekend, whether it's in the heat or the main.
He's eight. He's in the 7th, 8th fastest all the time. So yeah. Yeah,
makes sense. And then Cooper Webb 3rd place, Marvin Muskie in 2nd. And yeah, Justin Hill just dominated. Probably the 2nd biggest story of the night, I would say.
Yeah, like you said, him and Marvin had a really good battle throughout the whole heat. It was nice and clean, good racing. They got really close sometimes, different lines. Like we said, Hill was doing that quad that Baggett cased, and he looked really good in that 450. If he's strong, if he's not thinking about moving up next year, he definitely should.
Oh yeah, no, I'm pretty sure they already said that's happening. This is definitely a thing, and
a funny thing would be like if because I think he's doing all the East Coast.
Yeah, on the 450.
On the 450. So what if he by the end of East Coast he has more points than the West Coast? He's a lot better.
That's what I'm saying. We said that on that the first podcast after the race. He could do it too, because if he gets if he wins or gets top 3 and stuff, and he's sitting in 10th place in points, and then in the 250 class he's sitting at 8th place in points. It's what do? Do you try and improve the 450 overall or the 250. I don't know. So yeah, it'll be interesting if he can
'cause
run up
will,
there.
Yeah, he will definitely have a couple more races on the 450 as well. So
Yeah, another thing that I liked was Ken Roxon was in the booth for the heat races, and Ken Roxon is way better than Ryan Dungey when Ryan Dungey was doing it.
is that right?
Yeah, Ken was really like vocal, and he was like talking the whole time, and he just had like really like insightful stuff to say, and he wasn't scared to say much. Ryan Dungey seemed like he was holding back because he was so scared to like saying the wrong thing or something. Like he wouldn't he wouldn't choose whenever they said like, oh, who's gonna do better? Like who do you think's gonna win? He wouldn't like even pick someone. He's just like, oh well, I think anyone could win.
Who did Roxon say?
Well, he didn't really say, but he would have said. I'm telling you. So he just had that. He was just being a good commentator. He was answering the questions, and it was cool. He also talked through the his crash and stuff, and saying how his injury was worse than they originally thought. He like tore a bunch of ligaments and dislocation, another dislocation, and all this other stuff. So. It was cool just to hear it from his mouth, what happened.
Did he say that if they found someone to take an arm for him?
Someone to take an arm from him?
Yeah, to give it to him? Like a bionic man?
He didn't say that, but I think with his body language, he was definitely saying he wants arm off or someone, maybe like Elon Musk.
Any of our listeners out there, if you have a pretty good grip on your right, just make sure if you want to donate and see Roxon be a champ, make sure just hit him up and make sure you're following us at MXSX Podcast on all of the platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web.
I think Rob Gronkowski, he would be a good candidate for a bionic arm for Ken Roxon, because he's had one for a couple years. It seems like he's always had that thing on there. Or Tesla's Elon Musk. He just made that like flamethrower thing and put a car in space. So I'm sure he could come up with a really cool arm for Ken Roxon. Something
for
that
sure. Yeah.
So
maybe like detaches, like whenever he's falling, it detaches,
Yeah, like the visors when they like break off whenever they hit the ground.
Exactly.
It like absorbs the impact, or maybe it shoots off early and like opens up into a parachute or so, like a little bed, a little airbag to land into. Hey, the future, man. I was thinking about that Justin Heft crash where he like went over the bars in that LCQ. Like if they had like just like a little portable thing they could just throw out there and like inflate for him to land on. I feel like
going down.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Like, how they have the helmet, just like the gear just gonna inflate, it's just gonna poof.
Yeah. Or like Speed Racer, the movie where all the cars like crash and then they like turn into like a bubble, bubble forms around them. And, yeah.
Okay, yeah, something like that.
All right, we're getting a little too far into the future here, but anyways,
so this Heat 1, we were talking about Justin Hill. He's sitting 7 in the points right now on the West Coast. So
seventh in the points. Yeah, well, and he's that last race he really stepped it up. He won that last one, right? If I believe. So he's it looks like he turned things around. So maybe he'll just go back there and win all the 250 races too. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll see.
Definitely that's the Justin Hill that we were all expecting from the beginning of the season. On the West Coast.
Yeah, it's so weird. I wonder what happened because he was healthy and he said his starts were bad.
Bad starts, man.
I guess that's it. So it looks like he turned things around there because he dominated. He got good starts all weekend here in the 450s. But let's jump into Heat 2. Yep. We had this one got a little crazy because of what happened.
It was definitely an unfortunate heat.
Yeah. Anderson had a pretty big hole shot, not as big as Beckett's, but he was up there. And then coming around that first turn, it was Tomac, Brayton, and Seeley right behind him. But they got around Brayton. Seeley got around Brayton pretty fast. So it was Anderson, Tomac, and Seeley for a little bit. And then I think it was the second lap when Seeley he was hitting that quad in the middle of that rhythm section.
No, it was like third or fourth lap because they when they red flagged it.
That's right.
They staggered instead of going back to the gate.
That's right. Okay, so it had to have been like right after that third lap then, because it was pretty early in the race.
It was very early in the heat for sure.
And this is like right in front of where we were sitting, this rhythm section. So Seeley comes up a little short on the one quad he was hitting, and kind of rolled over the front. And and it looks like there wasn't the greatest replay of it, but I'm gonna try and compile a bunch of different videos so we can get a good understanding of what happened. But I think that bike is just killed him, because it looked like the bike just went straight into his right into his hip, right into his side.
Yes.
So he got really messed up. Like, it looked really bad because we didn't get to see. He was kind of in between those jumps, so we didn't really see him moving that much, but he really didn't move much at all. He was in this like that half fetal position.
It reminded me of the Steelers play at that moment. That whole like, it reminded me of that.
Yeah, exactly. Ryan Shazier, when he went down, he kind of grabbed his back like Seeley did, and like threw a hand in the air to like kind of signal that he was fucked up. And he didn't, like, whenever we looked at him, he wasn't moving. Whenever they scooped him off the track, they didn't like lay him flat. They just scooped him up in that position he was laying in, and they got him off pretty quick. So it was a pretty scary moment. Like I said, it was probably the scariest moment of the year. I personally thought like he was paralyzed. I thought he was done. But it's actually good news. It was good news for me to hear that he broke his pelvis. Did he break his right pelvis?
Yeah, he fractured his pelvis and the tailbone.
Yeah, so it definitely could have been a lot worse, but that's a pretty bad injury itself, because I don't even know how you sit or whatever. I mean, it seems like you're always on your freaking pelvis. There's always so much weight on your pelvis, no matter how you are positioned. Maybe he has like a full body cast, like, you know, those ones that they really exaggerate in like cartoons, where it like goes from like your feet and all the way to your head, and your arms are out, and then like just your eyes are showing.
You know, but he'll definitely have something, like a big diaper type looking one for sure.
A diaper cast.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope not. That would suck. Anyways, one thing that I thought it took way too long for those flaggers to start and that medical flag to be waved, because there was like probably like 4 bikes that jumped by him, and one of them, like, they waved the flag, and then one of them was like hit us not jumping that, because everyone else was kind of jumping over him because he was in between the jumps, but the one guy landed literally like a foot away from him. Like, that could have definitely landed right on him.
You gotta understand, he was in the front of the pack. He was battling for, top 3. So there was a lot of bikes behind him, and I don't think that they took long. Yes, I mean, they took long, but not for like the circumstances that they were on. Like, he went down, and they have no power on over stopping all those bikes coming so quick. Like, I feel like they did a really good job coming to him, protecting him, and kind of getting the Alpine Star medics out there for sure.
I don't know, man. To me, I think they could have had that red cross flag waving way earlier. But I'll have to watch it back and see, because you might be right. Maybe they might. I'm sure they did a good job, because obviously nothing happened. But I think if something did happen, it would be like a huge issue about how they were slow.
Adam, you're a racer. You know that the medical flag doesn't come out until there's actual medic on the track. So that's
Is that
why
right? I thought they'd wave that shit even if someone's down at like the bottom of a jump, or just to get people not to jump.
No, that's why you have your yellow flag.
Yeah, but you can still jump on a yellow flag.
Yes, and they only wave the medic flag when there's an actual medic on the track.
Yeah,
or
I don't know.
on their way or whatever. But yeah,
I just think they have to find a better way to signal to the other riders where the downed rider is.
I feel like if they bring back that the the lights that they used to put like on the side of the triples.
Yeah.
You know, so like whenever someone goes out, they should bring something like that back, but just put them around the track. That way you can like turn it on a like before the actual area where the crash happened.
Yeah, I think they do have they have something like that. Just they have
That's what I'm
just
saying. I
like
think there's something on
flashing
the triples
lights or
though.
something. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's definitely an area though that could be improved. You know, because like I said, that whoever the rider was, I think it was Suzuki. So maybe it was
Old school
Malcolm
Roxon.
Stewart. It might have been Malcolm Stewart even, but who got really close to landing on him. So good thing it didn't happen, but I think if it did happen, it would be a huge story. But that's
definitely.
just me.
But
That's just
thank
me.
God it didn't.
Yeah. So after that happened, they obviously red flagged the race.
Yep.
And like you said earlier, because there was they had 3 laps in, they didn't have a complete restart. They did the staggered start. So that's the first one of those we've seen this year.
Yep. So far we've seen both types.
Yeah. And one thing, it kind of took them a while to get that staggered start set up. Like everyone was lined up and then they came through and moved everyone again. So, but once they got that going again, it was, Anderson, Tomac, Brayton. Tomac and Anderson had a great battle, and they were like so close in the sand. Like they were both just going for it. They were like just hand grip to hand grip, pretty much, going through that sand section. But one thing I thought of with the staggered start, it brought everyone close together again, or they were all spaced out. So it's kind of like NASCAR, the stages they have there, where it after each stage they bring the caution out and get everyone close again. So it's cool that it keeps like the racing close for that many more laps. So I liked it for that. Who knows? Maybe something like that happens in the future in the main event or something. If they try and copy like, all right, we're halfway through the race. You get this many points. You get this many points, and now we're gonna staggered start it or something. Who knows? Wouldn't that make it interesting?
That could be something to look into for sure.
Because it seems like every week, whenever I watch the race, I'm just like, oh shit, this is crazy. Oh my God, this race is insane. And then I'm like, holy crap, there's 13 minutes left.
Well, we haven't. That's another thing though. We haven't had a bad race except for one, maybe Phoenix, whenever Anderson just kind of checked out. But besides that, it's been great races. It's been very exciting, like it keeps you on the edge of your seat for sure.
Yeah, especially this track too, because all the races were really close. First and second, each race were close, except the very end of the 450s, where Eli started to pull away a little bit. But all the heats and everything, all these first and second place, these guys were within 3 seconds, 2 seconds of each other.
Not even, yeah.
Another crazy thing that happened. Well, yeah, I just wanted to say another thing. Anderson going through that sand section just had the best style ever. He was pretty much just skimming them. Eli had like the rhythm down where he'd like double, triple kind of thing. And Anderson was just kind of skimming them, just brap, just keeping that wheel up.
It was very, very fast for sure. He just keeping that wheel up like you said. And it worked. It worked for him. He ended up getting first place. Right behind him it was Eli. Then Malcolm, Brayton, Tickle for 5th, Bowers in 6th on the sub-in for Josh Grant. Kyle Chisholm, 250 rider from the West Coast, getting the 7th place.
Yeah.
Justin Starling, another rider from the 250 West Coast, actually racing with the 250 in this class. A practice 250 in this class, getting 8th.
Why not the race 250? Come on, give him the race bike. He's at the race, And
then the last guy is Kyle Cunningham with the 9th place.
And one other thing real quick I want to add to this race is Stewart, his pass that he made for 3rd place. He was coming through the whoops so fast, and he was catching Brayton. And he, right before, like one of those last couple whoops, like kicked him, and it kicked him up, and his like feet came off the pegs, but it like pointed his bike like right to the turn, and he was just wide open, and pretty much Justin Brayton had to like let him pass because he was going to die. So it worked in his favor. He just landed and just wide open, just made the pass. It was a pretty sick move. So
he was coming in hot.
Yeah, you could say that for sure. So that was a good move by him.
The definition of the coming in hot.
That's right. That's it. 450 LCQ, the Chad Reed show. There's really nothing else to talk about except, Chad Reed getting into the main, breaking the record, just being a legend. He hadn't broke the record yet. Right, that's what I'm saying.
He actually had to start on the main event.
Oh, okay,
in order to break the record.
That's true. And that, it would have could have been harder that with the bike problems he had, but right before he crossed that finish line. First of all, once he pulled the whole shot, the crowd went crazy. So of course they're gonna go crazy when he's crossing the finish line. And right before he hit that jump, my brother's like, he's going to do a knack-knack. And then, boom, he did a knack-knack. And I was like, oh, that's pretty sick. You don't usually see that for the LCQ, so it was awesome.
No, but it's Chad Reed for the whole record, so good stuff, man. It was good. It was a good show on the LCQ. We just said, Chad Reed with the win, throwing the knack-knack at the end. That was sick. And legendary for sure.
We were there to witness history. We were there. We made history with Chad Reed.
That's right.
That was a really cool moment.
Trying to get a video of it, but it cut off right before the finish line.
Yeah, it was like, you started it like two seconds too early because he was like coming around. There's the finish line, and then video over. Damn it. Yeah. So Chad Reed won. Ben LeMay got second. Matt Bisceglia got third, and Brandon Shar fourth place.
Nice.
So, let's keep moving along and get to the main event. All right, so with the whole shot, Cooper Webb, killing it. Great jump. He struggled. He's had some problems this year, like, obviously him and Ken Roxon went down and when he was running good. So he's been waiting to have a good main, and this was his chance. He got out front. He had Tomac, Musquin, Hill, Pike behind him, but Eli passed Webb in that Baggett turn, and then Musquin passed Webb, and then Hill passed Webb. So, hey, at least he got the whole shot.
Yeah, they Eli, Marvin, and Hill had a great battle. At the beginning of the race, they were all going at it. There was a lot of passes and a lot of position changing between those three in the first 5 minutes of the race.
Yeah, and Hill, he was hitting that quad like it's it's nothing. He straight up passed Eli in that turn right after the finish line, the one before the over/under table. Straight up past him. I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be exciting." He looked really good.
He was going. Hill definitely had his eye on that first place.
Yeah, and so Musquin's out there leading, and Hill he keeps doing the quad. He catches Musquin. He goes for that pass right before the finish line, but he chooses like the worst line ever, and pretty much it's like he set Musquin up to just take him out, or he just like came down into Musquin's back tire,
which is rare to say, that Musquin taking people out because he's terrible at it.
Yeah, he didn't want to. Hill's just like, he just gave it to him. He's just like, here you go. But he made a similar move on him in the heat, and it looked like he tried to make the same exact move, but they were just their positioning was just a little bit different, and he just like put himself right into Musquin's back tire.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, Hill was, like he was setting him up the laps before, setting him up the laps before, and he finally went for it, and I think Marvin actually slowed down a little bit longer just to kind of block him, and that's how he went down for me, in my perspective.
Yeah. So at this point, there's like 14 minutes left in the race. Musquin was leading, Tomac behind him, Webb was in third, Anderson in fourth, Pike was in fifth, Tickle in sixth, Stewart seventh, Hill, he didn't lose too much time, he was back there in eighth, Wilson was ninth, Freezy was 10th, And Anderson just killing it in that sand section again. That's where he caught Webb and put a little bump pass on him right before the finish line.
Yep.
And then that next lap, Pike goes down in the sand rollers right as his teammate Justin Hill was about to pass him. So it's just like the camera cuts to him, up, here comes Hill, and then Pike just threw it away in the sand section. So it was a rough night for him. He actually said on Instagram, he said, because he thought it was, he said, was running good last night till the damn sand took me down. I'll be back up there next week. So, yeah, he knows.
There will be no sand. So, that sand whoops everybody's ass, though, and it was rough. It was definitely loose, man. Yeah,
real loose, as Ricky said. He likes it. I don't know if he likes it loose, but it was loose. And it whooped everyone's ass all the way, like the entire day. Everyone had problems there. If you weren't wide open and you weren't completely straight, you were gonna have problems. Though Forkner, I was in the 250s, he was like whipping it into that sand section every time. It was like so sketchy, just landing sideways, but wide open.
Wide open, dude. Yeah,
that's what it is. That's right. So Pike went down the sand, and then Tomac, he passed Mooscan in that Baggett turn, and then Marvin got him back right before that over-under tabletop, and then the next lap, Tomac passes Marvin in that same exact turn, in the Baggett turn again, but this time he made it stick. And
make sure that he was gonna stay up front.
Yeah, so that turn was just a great passing turn the entire night. We had so much action right there. So much.
we had great seats for action, like you said. We definitely had that.
And then Chad Reed, he worked his way up to 11th, but then he quit on his own terms because he said the bike was cutting out on him. So that sucks for him, At least he broke the record.
But he broke the record though.
Yeah, but he was running. That's like one of the best he was doing all year. So it sucks that he had to back out, but it's good that he, he's still healthy and he can continue his record lead.
Yeah, I read an article on him, and it said something like that he's not racing for just the record. He actually believes that he has the competitive edge to be battling up front. He's just not healthy. So
yeah.
Do you think he's if he was healthy, he would be able to battle with these guys?
No, I don't think so. I just think everyone is just like so. They're just more younger and they're just like attacking way harder. But I mean, he showed that he has speed, so I think he could definitely like lead a couple laps. But to hold it for 20 laps or whatever. I don't think he can. I don't think he could do it. But I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him up there. I just don't.
For sure, I would like to see him healthy. For sure, I would like to see him fight. He'll probably won't be a 15th place rider. He'll probably be like a top 7 for sure.
Yeah, but I just think if you put Reed and Eli right next to each other, Eli's gonna smoke him. That's just what I think.
Yeah, like you said, they're younger, so it's not even. Oh well, it's not even about the age. It's just more like agility, just kind of like work you can put into it. There's some of these kids don't even have a kid yet. Chad has a couple.
Yeah,
so.
Chad's got a lot of kids and a lot of things, a lot of family things that might hold him back from really just going for it, putting everything out there, which is like pretty much what it takes to win in the 450 class. You gotta risk it all.
450 or 250, you have to definitely be focused and you have to be on top of your game at least for these 17 weeks, 18 weeks.
So what's up with Chad? He had like an ankle injury or something, right? Or was it shoulder? I forget exactly what it was.
It was ankle injury.
Yeah,
Nothing like Christian Craig, but an ankle.
Yeah. Well, okay, so that's my point. So if it's just his ankle, then how much is he gonna blame his? How much time do you think he would gain with having a healthy ankle? So, and how long is it going to take him to be healthy so we can actually see where he could run? Is that going to happen this season?
Yeah, Christian Craig went out there the week after and still finished you know.
Yeah, he had that
So-
freaking football under the skin of his ankles. He had to get like a boot like 10 sizes too big so he can fit it in there. That's just what I'm saying. I don't know if that actually happened, but yeah, anyway, so Eli Tomac won. Marvin Musquin got second. Jason Anderson, like I said, he played it pretty safe. He got third, but he's still, winning the points by, 39? So he's still got a big lead on everybody else.
Yeah, don't be surprised if he doesn't win any more races this year.
I mean, actually, I don't know if I would be surprised if that happens. So I think you're right. I'd like to see him win some more races, but Eli, he's just he's doing it, man. He looks good. Looks really good. If he can stay up and stay healthy, it looks like he could win every single race.
And no, he really does look like it. Like, it's so bad that for the beginning of the season, that race that he had to miss or whatever, but it's very unfortunate for sure.
Yeah, Cooper Webb got 4th, Brock Tickle got 5th, Justin Hill got 6th, Dean Wilson got 7th, Malcolm Stewart got 8th, Blake Baggett, like we said, he was riding a little injured after that little Spider-Man showing. He got 9th. Justin Brayton wrapping up the top 10. And then Vince Freeze, Weston Pike, Kyle Chisholm 13th, Tyler Bowers 14th. Not too great for Bowers on that Monster Energy ride.
Yeah, for real. That's not acceptable.
Yeah. Didn't really hear if anything happened. You would think something had to have happened for him to do that bad. But because you think once you get the Monster Energy ride, you're
just good. You're just like automatically good.
Yeah, it's like things should change a little bit. So he said, not gonna lie, I did not dig the track this weekend. Just could not find that flow. Glad I made it out, and I'm ready to get some more time on this race Kawasaki mean machine this week. So
yeah,
looks like he just had an off night. Well, he's ridden it before. He shouldn't be that scared of it. But Cole Martinez got 15th, Kyle Cunningham 16th, Ben LeMay 17th, Justin Starling 18th, Matt Bisceglia 19th, Brandon Shaw 20th, Chad Reed 21st, and Benny Bloss 22nd. A
lot of bad luck for Benny Bloss this year.
Yeah, and he did good in the heat race. So let's see what he said. He said, day was going pretty good in Tampa, finished 5th in my heat, and felt pretty solid on the bike. And then on the second lap of the main, I ended up going down with Blake Baggett in the sand and ending my night. Bummed to end the night that way, but we will be back for Atlanta. So it looks like he went down with Baggett there. So yeah, Baggett had multiple problems throughout the night, but they're still healthy. They'll be there for Atlanta.
I mean, there's no excuse. Blake Baggett went down and he ended up 9th.
Yeah. I mean, and Benny Bloss got 22nd. So
he actually got a DNF. So
yeah. So something must have happened or broke or something. He didn't say in that post, but Jason Anderson just growing that lead in the points a little bit more. Tomac, like we said, he is now in 7th place in the points. Justin Brayton and Weston Pike both have 125 points. And Eli, he could catch them. He's got 116 points. So, not too far behind. He keeps winning races. It's going to get really interesting. Really interesting.
Yeah, he could definitely do something. If he keeps going with this rhythm, we're coming up to the Atlanta, which is a Triple Crown, if I'm not mistaken, and it's could be interesting.
Yeah, definitely will be. Justin Hill scored 17 points that race, so not enough to get him in the top 20 yet. But I think if he gets one more race where he gets like 17 points, he'll be in the top 20. So we can look forward to him moving up that chart this week in Atlanta. And Is there anything else you want to add to this? We're a little longer than we usually do, but like we said, we were there. We got to witness it. We have. It was just exciting. There's a lot to talk about.
Definitely. Just make sure that you guys are following us on Instagram, on Snapchat, on Facebook, on Twitter at MXSX Podcast. That's it, dude.
Yeah, we'll see you guys for when we start talking Atlanta. Thanks for hanging with us. Peace.
Ciao.